Once you've logged into your Voca Quest account, you'll be able to see this screen, which is your caseload. As I'm using a fresh account right now, there's no clients here already. But as you can see, just at the top, there's some help information, and below, the caseload itself. There's only the singular add client button there at the moment because, like I said, there's no clients in there yet. But once you start populating it with your clients, they'll all appear down here. So let's add a client now. So this is all the information we can fill in. Firstly, we've got a unique client identifier, and this can be anything you want it to be. It can be anonymous if you just got a numbered system like ID001 or something like that, or you can give them names. It's completely up to you. It just has to be unique from other clients. So I'm just going to call this one 001. Then you pop in their birth month and year, and this is important because there's quite a few activities, especially screening activities, that use age-based and research-based data. So, for example, the age of acquisition of certain sounds or the age of elimination of phonological errors and things like this. So just confirming that age there. And then we have a little gamified bit for the client so they can have their own avatar name and avatar icon as well. So click on here, they can choose their own icon to choose as well. Guardian email address isn't mandatory right now, but that's the email that you would have to use in order to send email invitations for homework or scheduled or teletherapy activities. Next, you've just got preferred content language, so that's British English or American English. There's obviously some spelling changes and pronunciation changes between the two languages. The next setting is errorless learning, so this can be turned on or off per client. And if you're not familiar with it, the way errorless learning works is that for activities where there are right and wrong answers, they can keep trying to get the right answer and eventually get it right per question. So, for example, if it's a multiple choice, they can click all the answers and they only proceed when they get it right. With that off, that question would just be marked as wrong in the report. Next, you can choose a preferred theme. So Voca Quest is the default one. That's the most sort of fun theme. There's some floating islands in the background. The next one is Sunshine, which is a yellow, more simple theme, and then simple is blue. These both have less visual stimulus in the background to help people stay focused on the activity itself, if that's an issue. And then Vanilla is just a plain white theme, sort of like the screen we can see right now. This could be suitable for older clients or just if you want no visual stimulation apart from the activity at all, really. Next, you can just choose the skin tone for icons. So there are thousands of icons in Voca Quest for flashcards and activities, and you can just choose what skin tone the humans in those icons should have. By default, it's the yellow emoji sort of color. The details down here are for the client dashboard access that I mentioned at login stage. So you can send these to your client, this username and this password both automatically generated, and they can use that to log into their client dashboard. Once you've created a client, you'll be able to see their activities page like this. In the top left, there's some basic details about the client. All of these are zeros right now as it is a brand new client. Below that, there's a button to access the activity library where you can set up activities for now or for the future with the client from the range of materials available. And just below that, there's a section for therapy plan, which is empty right now, but here you can plan for activities to do in the future. In the top right, you're able to access client info and edit it as well to a degree. You're able to access their goals and reports and also access their client dashboard. If I go into goals and reports, you can see again all of this is empty. However, we can add a new goal with this add goal button. Here we can choose a target for the goal, and there are very many targets available. You can see here all the different kinds of targets that are available. There are targets to do with grammar, speech, voice, fluency, and more. If I choose a target such as B initial, then we can set a target for 80% accuracy using B initial sounds. And we can also set the due date to maybe the 17th of December. So then I can save that goal, and we've created this goal in the goals list. You can see the target is the B initials, the accuracy we want to be 80%, and the due date is this. you can see some stats about how they've been doing with this goal, and on the right you can see a graph. You may notice that it says tracked automatically. This is because anytime you complete an activity using B initial sounds, their performance will automatically be recorded in here, so these values would be affected and an entry would be added to the graph on the right. From the client's page, you can access the range of therapy resources available by pressing the Activity Library button. Now, from within the library itself, you can see all of the resources available down the right-hand side. As you can see, there's about 6,000 activities available right now, but we can filter that down using either the search bar or the filters on the right. You're firstly able to filter by therapy resource or screening, then by therapy category, for example, speech, language or social skills, fluency or voice. You're able to then narrow that down further, for example, speech. You can filter by specific speech sounds or positions. Therapy approach allows you to choose what sort of a therapy approach you want to use in your session. So, for example, you could sort by colorful semantics or therapy blocks. Once choosing a therapy approach, you're again able to filter down further, for example, colorful semantic sequencing, fill in the blanks, etc. You're able to also search by type of game. For example, if a client responds particularly well to snakes and ladders or a spinner game, then you can choose to filter specifically by those game types. You're also able to filter by goals. So for example, this client has a goal for initial B sounds. I can press this, and now all the activities on the right will be those involving initial Bs. You're also able to filter by delivery mode, for example, instant face-to-face, where you're with the client on one device, two-device mode, where again you're with the client but they have their own device, teletherapy for remote therapy, and finally homework that you can assign for clients to do on their own time. You're also able to filter by amount of players, so some activities are suitable for up to 4 players, and finally by played status. You can filter by activities that have been played before, if you know a client responded particularly well to activities you've done in the past, or if you're looking for something new, you can filter by activities that you've never tried before. From the activity library, you can filter on the left by therapy resources or screeners. Filtering by screeners will reveal a handful of results, which are activities primarily used for screening. The ones available are a cycles approach screener, a fluency screener, a language skills checklist and a social skills goal setter, a speech sampling task, a speech sound screener, and a voice screener. All of these are used to create goals for the client. So for example, speech sound screener, you can use to identify that there might be an issue with a certain sound, for example, B initials. Fluency could be used to assess any fluency problems, so that would be stammers or stutters. The social skills goal setter, for example, displays a list of potential social skills that could be appropriate to set as goals, and also allows you to set your own custom social skills goals as well. To show an example, let's do a speech sound screener. There are audio prompts to help elicit the speech from the client, for example, the word,
Mouse.
or a spoken prompt.
The cat chased the mouse. What did the cat chase?
And then you can see that we've got marking tiles for the word in the bottom right. So, for example, if the client's pronunciation of the word was mouse, then we can leave these green, there's no need to interact because they were correct. So let's move to the next card. Here we've got pig, but let's say that the client pronounced it big. Here, the erroneous letter was the P, so we can click on that, and then we can mark it as a substitution. Here, we can choose what sound was substituted. In this case, I said big, so let's put a B substitution. Here, we can see a list of phonological processes that may have occurred, with voicing automatically selected as this was automatically detected by substituting B for P. Finally, you can choose if the pronunciation of that letter was distorted in any way. Now you can see that this marking tile has become red, it's been substituted for a B. In the bottom left, you may notice there's an area to add notes, as well as voice memos, or to record the elicitation of the word for future reference. Let's pretend for this word the client said Ike. So again, we click that initial tile, and we can click this deletion button to mark the sound as deleted. And again, we get a list of phonological processes with initial consonant deletion automatically selected. Here, you can see that table has more than one syllable, so we can mark if any syllables were deleted. You're also able to mark a sound towel as approximately correct, again choosing any distortions. After completing the activity, you'll be presented with a reward screen. Next, we have a review screen, which is unique to screening. Here, we can review all of the results that we obtained from the screener and edit them appropriately. If any audio recordings were taken from the client, they could be replayed here and the results could be edited. Let's say, for example, I remember that moon was not in fact pronounced correctly. I could edit the results here in the same way as we could in the main activity. Finally, we're asked to give a general intelligibility rating for the client before saving our changes. Finally, we're presented with a report. At the top, you can see general information about the client, followed by any notes you might want to add for that session. Next, you can see specific results for this activity. For example, there were 53 items tested, with which we were 96% accurate. Looking at some specific data from the activity itself, you can see what errors were made, and also whether they are age appropriate or not. For example, P initial at the client's age, which is 4 years 9 months, P initial sounds should have been eliminated by now, so these are not age appropriate. However, a child at this age may not be expected to master non-S consonant clusters yet, so these are age appropriate. You're able to see some graphical representation of the data, as well as a full list of each word that was tested and its result. At the very bottom, you're firstly able to generate a cycles approach plan based on the results, so highlighting any errors from the screener and creating a therapy plan for it. As with any activity, you're able to find evidence links, and finally, some buttons to return to the caseload, start another activity, or proceed to the next activity in your queue. You can perform therapy remotely in Voca Quest by using the Teletherapy feature. From your Customize Activity screen, choose Teletherapy as the delivery mode, and then continue to the activity. Now, you're in the preparation screen for your teletherapy session. You can copy the link to send to the client, or send them a direct email invitation. Once you've sent them the link, you can then join the session. Now, you have to wait for your client to join. When your client tries to join, you can admit them. Hi, Gabby.
Hi.
Then we can start the test. Now both you and your client can see the screen. And start the activity.
Beach.
Beach.
Great work. Let's do a couple more.
Bite.
Bite.
Nice. When you finish the activity, you'll get a celebration screen. And then you're good to end the call. Bye.
Bye.
You can then rejoin if that was a mistake.